Now, I had indicated that I was going to do this side off camera, and I sort of did, but I made a bit of a mistake that I want to show you, and that is this. When I glued it on, I used CA thin. Now, that in itself was not a mistake, but I tried to rush the curing along by blowing on it with my little hose. And you can see it got kind of white around there, you know, that white powdery stuff that forms. Yeah, that was the mistake. I've since painted it over, and I'm hoping it's not going to show up too bad. Okay, it's on. However, if we move in a little bit closer here, and I will, you're going to notice that there's slight discoloring. My touch-up with the paint did not match up perfectly. And for those who are wondering, here's how I do it. We have done step 71, not exactly the way they had it here, but close enough, and in some ways I almost like mine better. Step 72, they want us to make some more antennas. Now, I've already checked the text that goes with this particular diagram, and obviously we make them 150 millimeters from this post to this post here, or mast. So I'm assuming that's overall length, 150. Now, the part right here, it doesn't give the dimension, or in other words, how far apart these lines are. And the part that in the model is something that you actually get off a sprue or something. I think it, in their model it was brass, and they said paint it black. But anyway, I'm giving you more information than you need here. However, I think that I can probably measure this in the computer, and we'll do it similarly the way I would measure something really small with a microscope. Anyway, let's give it a whirl here and try and figure out how far apart these lines are, or in other words, how long this part right here should be. And another thing, I think that the easy line may work really well for here, but I don't think it's going to work too good for this part right here. We might have to use thread here. We'll see how it goes. Okay, here we are in CorelDRAW, and I have drawn a ruler, you might say, like that's this thing right here, 150 segments long. It's not necessarily millimeters, but because it's segments, we can transfer it into millimeters later. And the idea is, we'll try and get this, you know, right here at this post, at the beginning of the post, and then when we look at it at the other end, we can see that it touches the post pretty much in the right place. In other words, there's 150 segments all the way through here. Now, something else I got to explain here. Just let me zoom in on it. We'll get our ruler out of the way. Now you'll notice that the angle here, I know that people are going to say, yeah, but Ron, this goes off at an angle here. It's you're viewing it, you're not viewing it straight down on it, and I realize that. However, we're not viewing this one straight down either, although maybe we sort of are, because we've got 90 degrees here. Now, if this was more flattened out, or twisted, you know, the other way, this would not be 90 degrees, but because it's 90 degrees, I know that the error in one direction is pretty much the same as the other. So now let's see if we can swing this ruler around, and this is just going to take a minute here, so bear with me. Whoop, I went the wrong way. And okay, I'm going to put this at the end so that when it swings around, it will swing like this. Okay, we should swing it maybe a little bit more if we can. Maybe a smidgen more. Okay, I'm going to try and get this line so it's parallel with this one here. We'll move this. It's hard to micro adjust it here. I will get it, folks. Stay with me here. Okay. Now we should be able to move this whole thing like this. Okay. There we go. Okay, now let's just count here how many segments, or well, it'll be millimeters now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it'll be about, excuse me, about 6.5 millimeters apart. In other words, this thing right here, we'll make it 7. Yeah, we'll make it 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this one will make 7 millimeters, and this one down here will make 6 millimeters because it is a little bit smaller. And if it doesn't look right, well then my idea here doesn't work. Anyway, can you remember that? 6 millimeters and 7 millimeters. Now let's get out of this. Today is the last day, at least here in Winnipeg, that we can have our winter studded tires on. And my son is going to be coming over, and he's going to be giving me a hand to change them over, put the summer ones back on. And you know, it just seems like almost last week, well, maybe 2 weeks ago, he was over here and he was helping me put the winter tires on. Yeah, time just flies by. Anyway, I'm just I guess this is sort of almost like a disclaimer. Today's episode may be a little bit shorter. Also, I'm not quite sure how to go about this new aerial thing that we're working on. I haven't checked Stefan's book yet. I just thought of it just a few minutes ago. I wonder if Stefan's book has anything different to what we're getting in this plan from the other model. Okay, the winter wheels are off and the summer wheels are on. And that didn't take too long, actually. But then I got involved with something else that was important. And the afternoon is well underway. We're not going to have a whole lot of time here. However, I think it's important that we understand where these aerials are going to be run. The larger one, the longer one, goes from here up to here, and then the same on this side. The smaller ones go from here to here, and the same on the other side. And they, as you can see, they're running at a bit of an angle, probably, I'm guessing about a 20-degree angle to the horizon. Yeah, and they are, according to the Stefan's book, well, we'll take a look at it, because I don't want to give you the wrong information here. Okay, our antennas are in with the rigging, which begins right here at 172. And you can sort of see them here, although we're not really getting to see what the width and so on is. Here we get to see them, but we're viewing them from the front, if you know what I mean, and so they're actually angled up and away from us. Makes them look like they're a lot shorter than they really are. Here's a bit of a drawing. Here they are again. Makes me think that our 6 millimeters and 7 millimeters may be a little bit underestimated. Yeah, we are not getting to be able to look straight down on them. Here they are again. And, oh yeah, we were going to talk about what they were actually for. Okay, number 21, that would be the bigger ones that would be lower down. Number 21 is the long wave transmitting antenna, and I guess they're both. Yeah, this is 21, and the others are 21. So they are long wave transmitting antennas. Long wave, for those of you who don't know, would be just under the AM band on the radio, and Yeah, like for instance, I have 3 or 4 clocks here in the house that receive on long wave, and they automatically set themselves. Um, anyway, I'm giving you more information than you need. And long wave works really good ship to shore. At least way back in the day, that's the type of, if you want to receive and transmit ship to shore, long wave worked really well. Or shortwave would work good too if the distance was just right. Anyway, I'm giving you a whole bunch more information than you need. Somebody like Tony, who is actually a ham operator, a licensed ham operator, he'd know exactly what I'm trying to say, and he'd probably be able to correct me on this. Anyway, let's see if we can find something else, and maybe I'll just sort of zoom in on it just a little bit here. Okay, I know just enough about this kind of stuff to get myself into trouble, so maybe I should just sort of shut up here. Anyway, this drawing here, we can see the shorter ones that are on the top, and we can kind of see one of the longer ones here. On the next page, we kind of get to see them again. But not real good. Here we are kind of from another view. Well, we get the general idea. At least we can tell, for instance, right here, we can see how far it is from where the spreader bar, whatever you want to call that, is to where it hooks onto the mast. We can get a general idea. I think I'm just going to have to go ahead and use my own judgment here, being is that there are no actual figures that says it's so wide and so long, and yeah, we're just going to do what's going to look good here. Okay, now here's another view that shows them pretty good. Like here's 1, 2, 3, 4. And we do get the idea that maybe the spreader bar is wider than the way it's drawn, but then we have to remember that we're looking straight down on it, and this end here is actually a little higher than this end, so it's kind of, you know what I mean? Anyway, watching my son help me change my wheels really tired me out. In fact, he did probably 95% of the work. And that was hard work, having to watch him do that. So I'm pooped. I'm going to call it a day here. And thanks for watching. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.